Cradle of Filth fire guitarist after recent statements. Dani Filth posts messages. So the past week has been quite eventful. If you're a Cradle of Filth fan or in that camp, I would say. Cradle of Filth have now officially fired guitarist Accusations after he and his wife Zoe Marie Fedorov issued statements laying out their beef with the band's management and sharing the contracts on social media they were allegedly asked to sign. So basically how it all started was that Zoe Marie Fedorov, the keyboard player, said that she would leave the band, but then Dani fired her husband, Ashok, the guitar player, and after that they made a statement. And the decision to leave was because they didn't want to sign an artist contract with Cradle of Filth. So we planned this transition out of Cradle of Filth months ago. Management is dishonest, manipulative, and tries to make money that belongs to us. We attached this contract. They attempted to trap all session members in for a 25% raise. First raise in 7 years. Our lawyer called it the most psychopathic contract a session musician could ever be handed. Okay, I want to read this. This is obviously very, very interesting because this is the behind the scenes of being in a big metal band today. There's contracts, man. So let's read what the contract ensues. This is the contract that Cradle of Filth and Dani Davey want all the musicians to sign that are in the band. Looks like a standard contract. What do the musician need to do? They render your services as a musician on the tracks by the artist as may reasonably be required by us. To render your services as a composer on such masters. Okay, so you have to write music. To hereby give us all consents and permission in relation to your performance on the masters. Okay, so basically signing off all the permissions of the music to the act, Cradle of Filth, and then to attend in live recording sessions, live performances, rehearsal, photo shoots, recording of promotional videos, meet and greets, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the contract covers writing music, playing live, showing up for photo sessions and meet and greets and shit like that, and being, you know, a part of the band. So what is the provision of this? The provision of your services, we agree to pay you as follows. The fee, the sum of £200 per day for all days upon which you are required to perform, record, rehearse, or attend other activities with or on behalf of the artist. And this has sparked a lot of controversy because £200 for a band of the size of Cradle of Filth is not a lot of money, I must say. For travel days, you get £150. A per diem of £25 per day for each day upon which your services are required by the artist. So this is for food and food. So basically, the artist is committed to write music, play live, travel, and be on meet and greets and spook themselves out for photos and shit for £200 a day. Why this is a problem is because if you're a writer of music, obviously you're entitled to the royalty of being a writer on that material. But basically in this contract, you're signing all of that off to the band, so the band takes all those royalties. At 200 quid per day, I mean, is that even counting the days you're actually writing? It's just for performing and recording and rehearsing. When do they get paid for the writing? They don't, because they sign over their music to the artist. And that's a shitty fucking deal right there. And this has sparked a lot of emotion and a lot of backlash for Cradle of Filth, also a lot of support for Ashok and his wife. It really raises the question of how, you know, metal bands actually treat their musicians. And I can give a little bit of my own perspective on this. I mean, back when I joined 6 Feet Under, for instance, Englund, Swedish guy, joining an American band, playing guitar. Okay, simple as that, very easy. I would go there, I would perform, I would do tours, and I would get paid. At that point, I was very happy. I was, you know, very happy to be in an established metal band. And I didn't really care that much about how much money I got. And back then, I can't say for how it is right now, but 6 Feet Under would pay me like $1,000 per week to tour with them. So if we did like a 4-week tour, it was $4,000. Back then, you know, I thought that was a fair price, I would say, for me to go out and play in front of a lot of people. You know, always wanted to do that. But today, I mean, if you pull that out, say that you have 7 gigs a week, that's $142 per gig if it's 7, you know, gigs a week, which might not be that much either. What I want to say with this is that, you know, for a lot of young people, you know, they just want to get into the grind and, you know, get into the bands. Obviously, they're going to take these type of contracts. And that's why we see a lot of, you know, established metal bands that have young musicians in them, because basically they're cheaper. In a world like this where, you know, Ashok and Zoe is trying to make a living out of making music, with this type of contract, they're not building anything for themselves, and that's why they didn't sign the contract. Seeing this contract right here, it's, yeah, I would never sign anything like this. And if you're the young musician that want to play in Cradle of Filth, and you want to have fun for a while, go ahead, sign this. But if you want to have a future and be able to pay for yourself, maybe you should read the contract. Hell yeah, drama. All right, so it's a Saturday. Hello. I decided to come back into the office on this Saturday because Cradle of Filth and Dani Filth made a statement in regards to this whole situation, and I figured it wouldn't be fair if I just let one side of the story be reported. So Dani released a full-fledged statement. It's a lot of words, and I'm just going to break it down for you, okay? He addressed the contract that were shitty, basically saying that they were never meant to be final and that it was a mistake that they got sent to the musicians of the band. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt, maybe. He says that members are free to have other projects, you know, for other types of incomes, of course, and only need to coordinate scheduling, so they're not officially locked in to the band necessarily. He also claims that Zoe and Ashok, the guitar player, caused multiple disruptive arguments on tour, and there was heavy drinking. So basically now, we're seeing the shit being slung back. If you want to read up on the statement, I recommend you doing so. It's a lot to take in, but in short, basically the contract, it wasn't meant to be the final contract. Dani also claims that there was drinking on this South American tour and arguments between Ashok and his wife Zoe. And also he's protecting his management. And yeah. In short, he's saying that it's less about money and more about behavior and miscommunication, if anything. Either way, now we heard both sides. Great.